Hello and welcome to Relatively Ordinary. I'm Carl and I am prepared.
Yeah, we just talked about this. I do trust you're prepared when you need to be.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Betsy, by the way. Your
Oh, really?
your
Is that what it is?
trusty
Oh, wait,
co-host.
you again?
Yeah, me again.
Yeah,
I'm
nice.
prepared too.
Nice. Good.
I'm on it.
Well, we better be prepared because it's been like another 2.5 weeks since we last recorded.
Yeah, life has been fun busy.
Fun busy. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I thought about it today because, we had plans to record this afternoon and then you were like, "Oh, I want to go sit in the sun." And I was like, "Oh, I want to go play golf." And we did those things and
Mhm.
that's what we should have done. So
Yeah.
all good. And now we're here recording. So we made
Yeah.
it.
You have to find a healthy balance.
Yep.
While this is a hobby, you don't want it to feel like a job.
Yeah. So we always ask what's new since we last recorded. And I think
Mhm.
we always say something like, "Oh, no."
Ooh,
But
a lot that's
a
happened
lot's
though.
happened.
Yeah. How about we say the favorite thing we've done? Oh, that'd be hard. I have so many favorites. You go first. What's something you've been up to that you're just a super fan of?
Well, I mean, I loved our hike. We did an overnight hike in the White Mountains to an
Mhm.
AMC hut and with our son. And it was just a great day in the mountains and
Yeah, that was cool.
good family experience.
Mm-hmm.
Our daughter opted out, which
Yeah.
was probably also a good family
Oh,
experience for all of us.
totally. And we only went the wrong way once. The bugs weren't so bad. And yeah, it was fun. It was good.
Yeah.
Slept well. I always love doing that. Okay, and so that was going to be one of my things. But the other thing was I went to Hampton Beach with you for the first time, and we
Hampton
saw we
Beach.
saw one of my favorite bands for the fifth
Uh,
time.
was it the fifth time?
Well, if you
Yeah, it is the fifth
count
time.
when we went
Fifth
went
time.
to the festival,
Yeah.
we saw them twice. So
And
saw the
who is this
Elevators.
band? The
The
Elevators.
Elevators. For
Yeah.
those who don't know them, look them up. It's not spelled your typical way. It's Elovators because the elevators. But they're a great band. It was a cool venue, and
Yeah.
Hampton Beach is a little wild for me, but we had fun. It was
Hampton Beach
good.
is a scene.
It is a scene.
Um, yeah, it's a little bit. It's the gateway drug between Old Orchard Beach and Revere Beach. I
Yeah.
think.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't been to Revere Beach in a long time. So,
Yeah. That's
is that
that's
a party
that's a
scene? I've
true
only been there
gem.
during the day.
I don't know if I call it a party scene. It's
And is
just.
it really that like nice of a like? Would you go there for a beach day?
I mean, if you lived in Revere,
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
no shame.
So, something else before we get into it, well, a few other things happened.
Okay,
The
I'm
World Cup
forgetting.
ended.
Oh, I know.
Great, great World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations to Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I shit on Spain, but
Mm-hmm. Oh, they
they
dominated.
won me over. They played so excellent
Yeah,
and they flop less than they used to. So they got that going for them.
there's still a lot of
There's still a
flopping.
lot of flopping.
Oh
Like,
goodness,
yeah,
comical.
yeah, it's funniest when like people who never watch soccer suddenly watch soccer and they're like, why do they do that? And it's like, well, yeah, it's hard to justify.
Yeah, but I mean, my bottom line is it's how they try to draw fouls.
Yeah,
So it's sort of like you're a professional athlete slash, aspiring actor.
yeah. I mean, part of it is if you're a step behind the play and you fall down, there's no way you're catching up. So you might
Yeah.
as well just roll around on the ground like you got shot and hope
Yeah.
the referee blows the whistle.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Do you
a
think
real.
that would work when I play field hockey?
No, it's just like it's such an annoying tactic. It's like other sports. It's like hockey. It's like too bad you fell down. Like
Yeah,
get
yeah.
over it.
They're like,
Uh,
oh, they only respond and they're like, I see blood, or they're not
right,
moving, they're
right,
unconscious.
right. But yeah, it was a fantastic World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
The Red Sox won 15 in a row. That was pretty
Oh
sweet.
gosh, yep, yep.
And
Are these all sports things?
yeah, well, the
Okay,
other
what else?
thing
What else?
we so in the time between episodes, Graham Plattner's campaign
Oh, yes.
imploded,
That's right.
and we now have a new Democratic
Yep.
Senate
Troy Jackson.
candidate,
Yep.
Troy Jackson, who
Mhm.
I'm all for.
Oh, totally.
I'm in the Troy Jackson camp.
Yep.
But yeah, what do you think
And
of flat earthing?
he's been better vetted. I think I described it to you. I mean, I was very disappointed. I mean, I totally agree with everyone's sentiments, and it was pretty telling when he no longer had, the Democratic Party backing him, and some of the bigger players who were supporting him pulled out. I'm like, okay, so this is legit, because there's so much news media and disparate coverage, but
Yeah,
and for a long time we were showing forgiveness, but we have a reputation. I think Democrats, at least main Democrats, still have integrity. So we had to figure out something to do in the 11th hour. But I think, or is it the 23rd hour? How do you say? What's that saying? I'm screwing up the saying
the
here.
11th hour, you got it.
Okay. I was like, yeah,
Yep,
but there's 24 hours
yep.
in a
Stroke
day.
before midnight.
Stroke before
Yeah,
maybe. But I think I described it as like your it's like your brother or your good friend just like fucked you over. I just felt like I got I got screwed. I got lied to and screwed.
yeah. I mean, I felt like it was
But by
more.
someone who was like super trusting, or that
Yeah,
I gave a lot of trust to.
I mean, I feel like it was more like, you know, that cousin or whatever who, like, you were like, I think he's finally got his shit together. I think he's
Yes.
finally got his shit together.
Yes.
And, like, goes to a family reunion and,
Yes.
like, brings a nice girl. And you're like, oh, you're doing
Yeah,
so well.
yeah.
And then, like, by the end of the night, they're, like, hammered and puking in a bush and they've threatened to fight everyone. Like, it was
Yeah.
kind of like
Well,
that, where
it's
it's just like,
interesting. You say cousin, or you maybe cousin or uncle, and I say brother, but we have, like it
yeah,
doesn't
maybe
really.
there's some, yeah, we're not going to unpack that now. There's not enough
No,
time.
but
So, yeah.
anyway.
But yeah, it does feel. I mean, to me, the one thing with that is like why I'm not like I've never tipped into like yard signs and bumper stickers for a candidate
Mm,
because ultimately, like I don't know these people, right?
yeah.
And
Well, I told you I would do it for Obama. I would tattoo his name on my forehead. I feel like I have a
that's
lot of
weird.
trust.
That's weird.
I mean, that man has proved himself
This
and
is
was a hero.
left wing lunacy right here. That's what it is.
Okay, maybe
Yeah,
just the tramp stamp.
yeah. Obama tramps him. Yeah. Um. Yeah. No, I wouldn't do that for anybody. But yeah, I mean, it's like it is disappointing. It's like I we on this podcast
Oh yeah.
we defended him with some of those allegations before, and because it's like
Well, we basically said it's none of our business, and how has this changed who he is as a
yeah,
candidate?
but
But
that was also a different
it
thing
was
than
a
this.
different thing. Yes.
Um, but it's like it's like the high watermark where it's like if you think that this is the worst it's going to get and it's going to
Yeah.
recede from there, it's like
Yeah.
don't love it, but we can deal with that. And then
Yeah.
it gets worse, and you're like,
Because
nope, I'm done.
everyone has skeletons in their closet.
Sure. But I
I
don't have
mean,
skeletons like that in my closet.
don't look in my closet.
Yeah, your closet's a little creepier than mine,
I'm
but
just kidding.
yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So
I
anyway,
know it's lots has happened.
a lot has happened. There's like other things that, can't even remember.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's a blur. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So, all right. So my little fun question for you. Mine are
Quick fire.
never. No, I hate that. I hate that. I'm trying to get away from that.
The quick fire question.
And it's not even fun, just like interesting, because we have a shtick on the show, and sometimes the things I'm curious about aren't part of the shtick. But anyway, so you might remember a handful of nights ago when we were hanging out, you made a comment because I wasn't feeling great. I was being kind of emotional, and I was uncomfortable. And you're like, "Oh, hey, baby," and I was like, "That's me." And I was having some GI issues and just hadn't slept well and wasn't feeling my best. I mean, this happens probably to a lot of couples. And I was carrying on. You're being a really patient listener and supportive, and I made some comment about like, I know this, it just makes it difficult to be intimate. And you're like, well, I think this is probably the most intimate we could get because you were just supportive and understanding and we were dealing with it. And I recently listened to a podcast. I don't know if you know Modern Love, New York
I've
Times.
heard of it.
Yeah, I've been sharing it with people because at least coworkers and students, because the topic was about this young woman who had a I know there's a long story to this, but
This is
I'll
a
get to the
long.
question.
This is supposed to be a quick bite. Jeez.
No, no, no. It's worth it. It's worth it. So this young woman had a spinal cord injury around her daughter's age, a diving accident. And so she grew up with this
Ugh.
having, I know, she grew up having a disability and, into adulthood. And she was talking about her experience with intimacy and how it transcends like her personal care needs because she needs help with everything, but then also, who she is as a, sexualized human being and how, she feels like she has better intimacy because she has to communicate clearly and be very vulnerable. And that one of the, and this was after we had our conversation, the most intimate experience she's had with her long-term partner now has been around that because to have time away, that person needed to learn how to catheterize for her to have urine output and then have bowel movements and like that level of intimacy with your partner. It's like, oh, this is so unsexy and blah blah blah. And her partner was like, no, this is the level of intimacy I want to have with you because it's your whole self and you're trusting me. And so it felt a lot, it felt very meaningful for her. So got to my question. I'm curious what you find as like the most intimate thing, because I found that really very considerate of you, but what do you find is like the most intimate thing that I do for you or, we share together?
Well, I mean,
Because maybe it's not physical intimacy. You don't need to get into gory details, but
well, I'm assuming we're not talking about romantic intimacy because
oh, it can
I
be.
don't really want to talk about that
I
on a
said you don't
recorded
need to.
podcast.
I said you don't need to share gory
Okay.
details.
Yeah, but no, I mean I think outside of that is like because you are a medical professional
Mm-hmm.
and you have a lot of like, just knowledge about the human body and you treat patients, right? So you have to get close to people's bodies in your work
Mm-hmm.
and also teach other people how to do that. So I find that like there's a mode where you flip into like medical practitioner and you you don't see me as like your romantic partner. You see me as like this human
I
body
I
that's
know
like,
I know that experience.
yeah. And, but it's like, I like it because, first of all, I can be a little more, you know, it's like most of the time when I go to a doctor or a physical therapist or someone who's trying to help me with something medical and they're like, okay, lie down on the floor and move your arm like this and open your mouth and bend your knee like this. I'm like, that sounds weird, but I'll do it. Like you're the boss, right? And so I like that if I'm like having a physical ailment or something and I'm just like, Bets, can you look at this bug bite or whatever it is on my arm, and you just like dive right in there. Like my armpit might smell and there's like pus oozing out of it, and you're just like, doing an exam on me. like I like that.
Okay. By the way, there has never been oozing pus coming out of your armpit. Thank goodness.
Yeah, thank goodness that one.
But yes, I can
And you're
stomach
not an
I can
expert in
stomach a
that
lot.
type of.
No, I'd be like, we gotta
Yeah,
we gotta take this into quick care.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think that's it because I think it like it if you're going to have a relationship with somebody over a long period of time and you're going to have, true intimacy and all that, you just have to realize like, you know, sometimes you're my spouse, sometimes you're my lover, sometimes you're my co-parent,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you're my friend, and sometimes like you're this being that's in my space and I need your help with something that's kind
Mm-hmm.
of primal. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully we don't have to ever wipe each other's asses, but if that happens, it happens.
Yeah, practice. I'll do a good job for you.
Yeah, I
Don't
believe it.
worry.
I believe it. Yeah. So many things I'm gonna not say right now.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Be good.
All right. So did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Sign off on that?
Yeah. No, it's funny you say that because I know immediately when I go into, professional mode, but believe you me, I'm far less patient with you. I'm like, I don't have time for
Oh,
this.
you're an
Just like,
asshole to me.
yeah,
Like,
I'm like, flip
yeah.
over.
If I was paying
Do
money to
this.
see this, I'd be like,
Oh, no. Well, that's why I know. I'm doing it for free. So I gotta maximize my in and out time.
yeah, yeah. All right, cool. Well, I got the main topic for today.
Okay.
So this was actually spurred by a couple things, three things really.
Okay.
Um, One, it was Pride Month last month.
Yep.
We only recorded one episode in the month,
I know because we were
so I never
celebrating.
got around to talking about
I'll
this.
celebrate.
Second thing is Lindsey Graham passing away.
Yep.
And one of the stories that we keep hearing about with him was he was a not very closeted gay man
Mm.
who sort of wouldn't publicly come out, but like everybody sort of in the DC circle knew.
I thought he was married.
I don't know, he might have been, but
Oh, okay.
he that doesn't matter, right?
Oh, no, not, I mean,
Um,
no, I meant for a woman, but
yeah, that doesn't matter.
no, I guess not.
Like half of the
I just,
Republicans in Congress are
okay.
like that, right?
Okay.
But
I
this is
just
part of
don't
the
know. I
point,
just
right?
don't know a lot
This is
of
part
his
of the point, part of the build
personal.
up to this question.
Okay.
Okay,
Sorry. I'll be
so
patient.
so he and I heard it said really well by a couple people of like he publicly assaulted the rights and comforts that he privately enjoyed
Mm,
as a gay man.
mm,
And there's a lot of like, complicated legacy in that.
yeah, I bet.
Um, and then the third thing, and you could see
Seems like he's living a lie.
the what we're tying together here was we
Okay.
had a controversy in our town
Oh,
with
yeah.
the select board, the new select board, voting to take down the pride flag from the community center,
Hmm.
in spite of a rather significant groundswell of support for keeping the pride flag up
Yes.
in public comment.
Hmm.
So all of this is circling around the question of why do we still have such a problem with getting along and incorporating the LGBTQ community in our society?
I think as long as we are dealing with inequality and lack of acceptance, we are going to see people needing to continue to rally. So it's almost like they're exacerbating the problem by pushing back. Don't you agree? Like it could just
Yeah, I
be
mean, I
like
guess like
another celebration of like, look at the progress we've achieved and let's go back to our very integrated, supportive, equal lives where, we can respect each other's sexual preferences and not bat an eye and know that everyone is getting, equal access to, marriage benefits and federal benefits through their same-sex marriages, and they're, not being ostracized by their community members. And since they are, and we see disparities across the country, there's going to be this need to support, as allies, Pride Month. And, I think there should be celebration, but, it's like it doesn't need to be such a big deal. What the hell is the problem with a flag? What is the problem? Like, I don't get it. And people can say it doesn't align with their morals or values, but I can't understand that. I can't understand that. Like, I really can't. Like, maybe your cisgender marriage roles screws with my preferences, but I don't make a big deal out of it. Like, why have you been so socialized that you can't be okay with this? And so just either ignore it or, change and accept. and realize it is inconsequential. It literally could be inconsequential to your life, even if you don't agree with it and don't practice it yourself. End of
I,
story. Like we
I,
could stop recording right there.
well, I agree with the frustration, but I think it doesn't like why, why is this happen? Like, why can't some people just look and just be like, you know what, this is not the most important problem. This is not among the 10 most important problems that we have.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it really isn't. But I think it's an easy one to attack on and claim that, falsely in the Bible, they're against gay marriage. And so it's a religious thing, or that, just this whole intolerance of like, I've been socialized that man and woman make baby and this is the only normal way we need to live our lives and everything else, you're living in sin and going to hell. But like, I thought we were over this. I really
You think
did.
it's all religion, like religious beliefs?
I think people use that as a way to make claim to why they believe a certain thing. And even if that was the case, I mean, religion has a freedom of thought and how you want to interpret things, but also that doesn't mean you need to attack others or bring down others. You should allow the freedom of thought of others. And so it's like if they wanted to, you know, it might be a little different, but say it was a Easter Sunday and they wanted to put up the cross on the wall at the community center, or it was
Oh, Christmas tree.
exactly. Like I don't, there are other representations of different populations happening throughout the year in public spaces. So why can't we just have some acceptance there? Like put your menorah up and have your Christmas tree, and that was a great example. I don't know why I didn't think that one. That one's a simple one, but I think the I think the intolerance is socialized. I think it's people who, but religion is one way that people feel like there's a claim to being steadfast in their beliefs, and that's why they are intolerant. And I I don't think that's, I grew up a Catholic, that I wasn't, their intolerance was not in the vocabulary that I learned,
Right.
and it, it's really about trying to be judgment free and love thy neighbor, and
Yeah.
be supportive of your community members even if their beliefs are different. And you might have feelings that, yeah, like they're not going to have the salvation that I believe I have earned because of my practices, but that doesn't mean you need to tear down their acceptance in the world and their access to the same rights and freedoms that you have. I I don't see other reasons. I don't think this should be a political issue other than supporting, people who are, part of the LGBTQ plus community. Outside of that, there should be no reason to restrict.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't, um, it's truly hard for me to understand because, I didn't grow up in a strong Christian household, but I also know, you know, in general, I sort of grew up in a rather, heteronormative, like white Christian kind of, upbringing. Like
Mm-hmm.
in terms of, my family didn't go to church, but if we did, we would obviously go to a Christian church. Right.
Yeah,
There was no
yeah.
other tradition that would have made sense. Both of my parents went to, Christian churches when they were, growing up, and that just was like what I would have assumed to be the default. And so I know a little bit. I did a year of Catholic school. I have, occasionally read the Bible, parts of it, obviously not the whole thing. I am not a theology scholar, that might you might find that shocking. But
I think you're, believe it or not, you probably know more than I do.
I have read a lot about religions in a more
Mhm.
comparative sense.
Yeah. In
And
an intellectual,
you know,
critical thinking sense.
I don't know this to be true, but I've never also seen it disputed or disproven. But I've seen it said multiple times, multiple sources, that there actually is nothing in the Bible that, like, there are stories of, different, especially Old Testament, which is really kind of an old history book. Like, it was like a oral history that was written down,
Mm-hmm.
and there were, like, Sodom and Gomorrah, and these stories of, like, um, morally bankrupt cultures that were struck down by God, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that's some, like, esoteric Old Testament stuff. There's no, like, you know, book, there's no gospel where, like, Jesus is, lecturing and telling everyone, like, don't be gay. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing like that, right? And in
Mm-hmm.
fact, Jesus Christ is sort of this ultimate symbol of peace and tolerance and
Yeah.
understanding. And if you call yourself Christian, like, you are literally saying, I am a follower of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And Christ never said these things. So I just
Mm-hmm.
don't see how that's at the root of any of this.
Yeah. But if it helps prove your point, and I use, prove loosely,
Yeah.
it becomes unfortunate. But I do think there's something to say for how you're socialized. So if I think, yeah, like I grew up Catholic, but we were very tolerant. I mean, I you know, I have an uncle who is gay. We have, close relatives who are pronouns they, them, or, I have a transgender cousin. I have lots of close friends and colleagues who are in same sex relationships. And to me, it's some of the other topics we discussed about, we were talking about polyamory or, race and religion discussions, that when you get to know someone for who they are rather than what they might represent, as far as, like, their class or their race, and, you really get to know them. They're just a person, and there are things that, you have in common with them, and they're good people, and they're part of your community. So the acceptance and support grows from that. And so I think we've seen some positive change, but I would say there are some communities of people, that we're aware of, and I'm sure we don't necessarily live in those communities where there's more closed-mindedness, where there is no tolerance, and so people stifle it or they move away. They estrange themselves from their families because they know they're not going to be accepted. They don't feel comfortable in their communities, so they won't speak up. And because there's this sense, within the household, within the community, within that region, that this is not acceptable, and it's not what the community supports, and there are, potentially limitations and on who you can be and how you can act, and, the freedoms you have, and so it's repressive.
Yeah. I hate that so much. I hate it because, first of all, I don't know how you could, you know, I don't know how you could deprive someone from being able to, like, live their true authentic self,
Mm-hmm.
um because of your beliefs,
Yeah.
right? Like, imposing your beliefs on someone else. And I also, it's like, when you think about some of the, like, the words that we like to use as Americans talking about ourselves, and we talk about freedom and liberty and, you know personal freedoms and all of that, like, this is that.
Mm-hmm.
This is that. And I
Yeah.
think if you truly believe in that personal freedom and the, individual rights, you have to be able to accept that some people are going to, live their lives differently than what you think is the way to live your life. And it's like,
Yeah.
you know I
You might not understand it.
yeah,
And that's the first step in understanding it is recognizing it
totally.
and checking your bias and prejudices and just learning.
Yeah.
You know, it
Or
doesn't
just treat
doesn't
them
make
like
them
treat
wrong
people
or
like
evil or
people,
icky. Yeah. Treat them
you
like
know?
people. I think the thing that makes me so upset now is that they've taken away some really well researched and organized programs to help kids who are wanting to do gender change. And, you know, it's this long process and it's difficult. It's a very vulnerable time in a child's life. It's very difficult for parents. And now they've taken away the resources and the funding in our country for individuals to be able to do that in the right way. They've stopped progress. And, you know, if you ask anyone who is, you know, part of the LGBTQ community plus community, they knew from a young age
Yeah.
that this, you know, when you go through puberty, you're becoming a sexual being. You're discovering yourself, who you are in relation to others. I mean, even before that, your relationships to others around you. And I think that that self-awareness starts to build. And if you're in a repressed society that doesn't support whatever those decisions are, that doesn't mean, you know, like our children were exposed to all the same things and they just are who the hell they are. There was a whole level of acceptance. There were
Yeah.
many options and they just are who they are.
So you mean they didn't turn out to be gay because they walked over that rainbow crosswalk? That didn't make them gay?
I know. It's surprising.
Yeah. Huh.
And you know, it's funny. I was very intentional when they were, you know, coming into an age where, you know, you start to talk about the other sex and, you know, you have relationships, you know, who are not same gendered because, you know, that's typically how it starts out. And, you know, just being not trying to be so heteronormative, you know, and it definitely got the like, huh, that's curious. You know, I never thought that. And now as they're older, they're like, no, I'm not gay, you
Yeah.
know, or like, yeah, I'm like, you can tell they're,
Yeah.
for as much as we tried, you know, I know it made you a little uncomfortable at times, but like as much as I painted his nails or dyed his hair, he's still very much a boy in the sense of what we typically think of the male masculine approach to life. And you know, that's great. That's the path he chose. And yes, we live in a, you know, he's been socialized by so many things too, but it was an open accepting
Yeah.
environment.
Well, I also don't, I mean, I don't, I'm not saying this to disagree with what you said, but I think it's like, it's not about choice. I think there's, you know, I think there are I think there are probably very few people who, you know, actively choose
Yes,
to
I
have,
misspoke. I agree.
yeah, one set
Yes.
of,
It's not a choice.
and
It's
especially
just
like
who you are.
gender identity and things like that. I mean,
Hmm.
I I do think that, and it's not a subject I'm going to wade into because I'm woefully ignorant, but I'm sure there are people who, you know, have a true, like if you think of, you know, gender as a spectrum where it's
Hmm.
like the norm is for you to be what we traditionally consider male or female, but there are going to be people that are, you know, we're all along a spectrum, and then there's going to be people who find themselves sufficiently in the middle to be like, I actually identify more as this other gender.
Hmm.
And then I think there's also people who, you know, maybe because of some trauma they've experienced or just, you know, how they grew up and things may sort of identify more, even if like biologically
Yeah.
they're
Mhm.
with the gender they were assigned at birth. So it's like I understand how confusing it
Yeah.
is.
And, you know, who you are, your true self, I think does evolve over time. I mean, I certainly have evolved as an adult. I have definitely hit that stride where I'm like, you know, middle age, like, I have like no more fucks to give.
Yeah, I don't need to
I
shave my
am
legs anymore.
who I am. I mean, I plan to do something with that, but yeah, no, like I literally just like don't give a shit. I am who I am. And you know what's funny, you think about the spectrum. Think about the spectrum of women. This is interesting. You've got like your very feminine, what you would say girly girl, right?
Yep.
You would know how to kind of describe them. And then you would have more of your like masculine leaning butch, may or may not be, a lesbian, or, thinking about transgender. So if we think about the spectrum, I think, there is a lot of variation there. And I think I land right in the middle. Like you cannot, do not give me a manicure. I slap you.
It's
I
wasted on you.
I hate it. It's ruined right away. I'm but like nah. Like
Yeah,
my hands, I was like the gardening. Like I want dirt and like destroy. Like I want these
yeah,
hands work.
yeah.
I don't know how women do that. I don't. It looks beautiful. I'm always like, oh, that's so beautiful. I respect that. But like, don't come near me with that shit. I karate chop
Can't
you.
pull weeds with that.
Can't pull weeds with that shit. You can't do anything.
Yeah.
You can't do what can you do? What? Like even like the nice no.
I
No.
will say though, sometimes I see like women's basketball players with the nails. I'm
Oh,
like, how do you do
totally.
that?
I have
How
no idea.
and
It's
they're
a
like
skill.
ridiculous. Like,
It's a skill.
um,
It's a skill. I mean,
yeah,
I do other things, but like I get my hair cut once a year. Like I'm pretty low maintenance. But I shave my armpits.
thank
Got that going.
thank God.
Oh, shut up.
Um,
You don't.
no, I don't shave your armpits.
No. That's scary actually. You would cut me to shreds.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's get back on topic. Where were we here? Um, well, so what do you think? So this is something I sort of struggle with. I I have friends who are gay,
Mhm.
and I've had some really good relationships with um homosexual people. I don't like for me like the pride parade and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I'm like, that's not my scene. That's not my jam. You have fun.
Mhm.
But I don't need to be there, right? Like
Mhm.
I'm happy for you. You're having a great time. I'm like,
They're a lot of fun.
it's just not my scene, right?
Mhm.
And also like in general, I don't really like parades. So it's,
Yeah. Not a
I'm
parade.
I'm not a parade
Even with the
festival
candy.
fair. I just don't. This is not
Mhm.
my jam
Yeah.
anyway. So that's part of it. But I also like, you know, philosophically, it really bothers me
Mhm.
that um, there can be such public pushback and hate
Mhm.
in some cases. Um, and I don't know what I feel like I don't do enough.
Well, oh, I'm glad you brought this up. I'm glad you because I don't I never remember where I hear or learn things. By the way, you know this about me. But I will just speak things that I have learned and
Yeah, just dude, don't even say that. Just roll it off like it's your
okay, well,
idea.
I like to be honest. Oh no, this is not my idea. People will know that right away.
I mean, that is the art of
Okay,
podcasting.
first of all, I think the flag in the community center, there is no harm being done. I love a good rainbow flag. I got mine out front as long as the weather allows. There is no harm done. Rainbows go with everything. But the other thing is that I think the best thing we can do as a heteronormative straight man who is very accepting is to show up as an ally. And that doesn't mean you need to show up to parade wearing a rainbow wig and a skirt and dance your pants off. That'd be so fun. We should do that sometime. But I think
Not my jam. Sorry.
But I think there are other things you can do to show allyship, and maybe it is being aware when someone is showing bias, or it is speaking a public comment. Like for me, I do little things where I have the rainbow flag outside our front door. I've got a rainbow sticker on my computer. So every time I open it in a classroom, it's like, this is intentional. Hello, I'm an ally. I have something in my office. Everyone's welcome. Rainbows. I'm an ally. So I think there are little signs and symbols. I used to have something in my backpack before I lost it. It was a button, but and then it's, you're speaking that. I have, an audience in a way through my work and the relationships I build that I can, be a way that I'm not in your face. I'm not trying to push my agenda, but this is who I am and I'm accepting. So it's a safe space. And I think that's again not my idea. I'm not sure I don't remember where I learned that. It was in some sort of formal,
Yeah. Well, I think
setting.
what you're talking
But
about, basically it's a symbol. It's small but subtle symbol that says, and I think that's the thing why people feel passionately about it at our community center is it's saying you're
yes,
welcome here. Like this is a welcoming
exactly.
space.
It's not just Pride Month, let me push my agenda. It's everyone's welcome. It's not just, hey, we're supporting this community that's an isolated group, and we're elevating their status and making this such a priority because they're more important, or you know we need to make it our official agenda for
Yeah.
the community center that we support gay people. No, it's just showing allyship,
Yeah.
right? If they don't want the flag, and I hear that they voted that the flag will just be up during Pride Month, fine, then why don't we just put a
I don't think that's
sticker on the
that's not what
door?
they voted.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
they
I
voted
wasn't sure.
they voted to take it down um now, and then they voted to reevaluate the flag or have a flag policy. But I think that that's a pretense to
Okay,
we're not going
flag
to have
policy.
flags.
So no flags at all.
Yeah.
I mean, do they want like rotate flags? We could have like you know,
Well,
a a, a flag. We can have American
no,
flag
because this
up, and
is
then
this is the problem, right? I think this
we
is
can
what
vote on the flags.
the, the this is what they're trying to drag it into. I think is like, and I think there's some
If
merit
it's a like
in.
a what about me thing, give me a
Yeah,
break.
this is the thing. So to take it back to like what you just said, which was really important, which is that like the flag to you, and I think to a lot of people, the flag is
Everyone's welcome,
everyone's welcome.
me included.
And some people see that as I'm not welcome because I don't
Believe in everyone being welcome.
well, I don't believe in
Gay
your
rights.
lifestyle,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Not gay rights. Yes, your lifestyle. Sorry, that
Yeah.
wasn't fair. They might believe in rights for everyone, but they probably don't.
Well, I
Oh,
we can split those hairs
I
all
just need to
day, but like,
pause for a moment and do something because I just want to be like, pew, 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 pew. Okay,
yeah,
got that out of my system.
yeah,
I
that's
got
gonna
like
make the
really,
Instagram.
I just got really angry for a moment. I just have to do that.
That's gonna make the Instagram. Um, yeah. Well, I'm glad you got that out
I
of your
learned
system.
that from you.
Yeah. Pew 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 pew.
I totally learned that from you.
Yeah.
Did you learn that from your dad? That seems like
Yeah, and by the way, if you're
something you got from your
listening
dad.
to this and you're not seeing it, every time we pew pew pew, we're throwing up a middle finger. So yeah,
Yep. It works. It works,
yeah,
folks.
yeah.
It works.
It does make you feel better in certain situations.
Yes.
Driving in
I
Boston, for
wouldn't
example.
I wouldn't do it to someone's face unless it was in good humor.
Yeah, you'd probably do it to me.
Oh,
Um,
except if it's your spouse.
yeah. Okay. Well, I think there's a lot more we could talk about on this topic, but I think it's
Mhm.
been a great conversation.
Oh, okay.
So, uh, is there anything you're still chewing on?
I'm still chewing on the fact that like it's one of those things like if you just roll into acceptance and support and move on in your life and maybe just mind your own business if you're not going to be an ally, but don't get in the way. Like, they're just exacerbating the problem. Like, let the flag stay up and move on. Who cares? Right? I mean, if anything, it's bringing it to attention how many people are supportive here. And if we think about like on a national stand, like people are pushing back and it needs to happen. There needs to be continued advocacy and support. But at the same time, like I thought we were over this. I thought we were over this. Right? Like
Yeah.
I thought, it's like the whole thing with Roe v. Wade. Like, are we really? I feel like we're going. It's the dark ages. It feels like the dark ages at times. Like we're rolling back time here, and why are we still stuck on this? Like, I thought we had evolved,
Yeah.
and it's frustrating that we have not. And now, it's like mountains out of molehills, and these are not our biggest problems. They're certainly not our
No,
biggest
they are
problems.
definitely not.
Um,
They are manufactured problems, in
yeah.
fact.
Yes, exactly. And, I think in some sense there are also distraction tactics. And I mean, if we go back to our select board situation here, like it's probably the only thing they have control over for their role. So if
It
they
is,
want to
yeah, it's a
swing
rather
around
powerless
their
position.
their
But
member, and because, the majority are just like, oh, I'm just gonna, act like I have power here and vote this down to piss off a few select people. And haha, yeah, my, member will grow bigger. You guys read between the lines what I mean with member. Then fine. So be it. But you know what I'm gonna do? Oh, you know what would be great? Is we find like the nearest space we can get approval to put up flags and just put a zillion little rainbow flags. Pew, 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 pew.
yeah, I mean, I
Two can play at this game.
I'm tired of that though. I'm tired of that. I'm tired
Yes,
of
but
the
it's
like.
showing allyship. You're showing up for others. You're not doing it against them. You're showing up as an ally.
Yeah, I think some of it
I'm
does
gonna
turn
get
into an us
my
against
tramp
them
stamp's
thing.
gonna be Obama, but I'm gonna get
And
rainbow flag on my forehead, folks.
yeah,
I've decided.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I wish we could just have, like talk like grown-ups, but
I don't know.
I don't think that's possible.
No, no. And I know what you're gonna say next. What's relatively ordinary,
Yeah, what's relatively ordinary?
per our beautiful sign
Yeah.
here.
I would have forgotten the words if the sign
I
wasn't there.
know. I probably would have actually. Like forgotten the title of our podcast. Yep, yep.
Tentatively relative. No, wait. It's something normal. Oh, don't tell me.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I think what think is relatively ordinary is that as I said to our daughter earlier today, like we're we're leaving her a dumpster fire to fix, and she needs to change the world, and this might be part of it. Like, I hope your generation is just like, so what? Yay, Pride Month is
No,
fun. Let's wear rainbows, and then all year long we'll show some goddamn respect to everyone.
I think
Boom.
I think one of the reasons there's a theory out there that we'll see how it proves, but
Like we ebb and flow with each
there's
generation.
well, yes, but there's a theory out there that this is really the um it's what we're seeing in the extremity and the absurdity of a lot of the intolerance and so many things in this
Mm-hmm.
country right now is really like it's like the death rattle. It's like I'm making this is the final battle. And if you listen to some of the wackier people, right?
Yeah.
Like I mean, remember last September there were not a small number of people who were convinced that the rapture was happening. I
Oh.
mean, they literally thought that the end of the world was going to happen in like September 22nd or something like that. And there are a lot of people who like see us being at some like we're on the brink of some like apocalyptic like event, and I think that for some of them like it's like this is the final stand, we've got to fight, and
Mm.
you're
It does feel like
you're
that. There's
gonna
some desperate
lose
measures.
you're gonna lose
Yeah.
You're going to lose, Stephen Miller. You're going to lose. So they're pushing, they're fighting, and they know that. And I think I see it with
Well,
generation. It's why
Stephen
like
Miller and all his
people talk about
immigration
like,
stuff.
you know, when people talk about like indoctrination, the woke indoctrination, like they literally think that there's like some kind of like conspiracy to
Brainwashing.
brainwash people when in fact it's
No,
just tolerance
I
and
am.
progress and science
Mhm.
and evidence
I am naturally woke.
and rationality.
Ooh, that it will be a rainbow flag with the letters woke.
Please do not ever tattoo. You're actually just, I'm calling up every tattoo artist in Maine to be like, do not give this person a tattoo. She's going to make terrible decisions. So,
Oh,
yeah.
well, I'm still working on like what will be my first, probably last tattoo.
Yeah.
Maybe not woke with the
No,
rainbow flag on my forehead.
no, probably not. Bad
Okay.
idea. Bad
Okay.
idea.
All
But,
right.
all right. Well, good conversation.
Thanks, babe.
Good job.
You too.
Peace.